Good evening, viewers. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today gave our interim budget, and we are joined by Mr. Armaan Joshi. He's the lead editor at the Forbes Advisor. Thank you, Mr. Joshi, to be with us for discussing the deliberating what major points, what major takeaways we have from this budget. And first of all, we are talking about the multidimensional poverty elevation and the direct benefit transfer that this budget speaks about. We see over the past decades, the government has focused on addressing multidimensional poverty, resulting in the liberation of 25 crore people. The use of direct benefit transfers played a crucial role, transferring rupees 34 lakh crore and eliminating leakages. Uh, how far do you think this approach shaped the socio-economic landscape, and what challenges were encountered implementing the DBT schemes?
Direct benefit transfers, as far as I know, is extremely good for the poor. It has actually worked, and I have personally spoken to many beneficiaries, and they are happy about it. And it actually empowers people at the grassroots level. This particular system has brought an end to the middleman system that was prevalent in India. I mean, extraordinarily bad, but again, it was prevalent. And there were middlemen, though there are middlemen still, but again, it has brought this problem to more or less an end. And if the government is going to emphasize more on it, it's going to do wonders for the people, the beneficiaries. So, as we have also seen Mr. Modi speaking a lot about it on Twitter and in his speeches, we can very well understand that he actually understands where the problem lies. And if we remember a quote by one of our previous prime ministers, he encountered the same problem and he expressed his views about it, that when we um, allocate some money for the poor people are never given the same amount. I mean, they're middlemen, and it never reaches the grassroots level. So, I mean, it's really good. It has actually changed the way the government functioned.
So when we talk about the government reaching out to the last person, to the poor people and the people because it's a welfare state, and for the people who actually for whom the schemes and the programs and benefits are intended, it brings to our next question where we say the various programs have been assisted over like 11.8 crores farmers, 78 lakh street vendors and artisans in 18 sectors. The ENAM market integration has reached rupees 3 lakh crore in trading volume. What specific measures do you think have contributed to the success of these programs? And how has the government ensured inclusivity across different sectors and regions?
Well, enam has actually worked, but we need more awareness. People of that strata are simply not aware of it at this point in time. People are using it, but a government will have to educate these people about it. Though, what I have been witnessing is that people, those who are using enam, are quite tech savvy, and it's actually the younger generation which is using it for their parents or their grandparents. We What government can do, they can get into partnerships with the state governments, and at the grassroots level they can send their people, hold conferences, training programs at the block level. They can involve the block development officers and other bureaucrats for this. Go from one village to another. We have internet everywhere these days, and increase the number of people those who are using it. Like for example, more than 18 states are using it at this point in time. More than, I think, more than 18 states. but we have our own issues. Like, for example, the markets are extremely localized. Like in Uttarakhand, I've seen people growing citrus fruits, but these citrus fruits are never able to reach the market, and even the farmers are not aware of how to use these applications. So we need to train them, and once we are able to train them, we can use YouTube and other forms of training, and accordingly make people more aware. But if the government is able to teach them how to use it, it's going to do wonders for the farmers. At this point in time, we need more awareness, but the program is extremely good. Enam will actually work, and there are 50 lakh subscribers to it, but 50 lakh subscribers in comparison to the kind of population that we have is nothing. So we will have to work on it, but once it's in its full swing, then it's going to do wonders.
And we are looking at a budget which has come, tad earlier, just a little, there's not much time for, the country going into the elections. And, usually people were thinking that, this could be, a budget that would be, doling out freebies, and, it will be, resorting to a lot of, popular decisions that would make people vote for the government. But do you feel that this government, unlike the past interim budgets, the government expresses, confidence in returning without resorting to freebies? Instead, there's a significant promise of infrastructure investment. And how does the government plan to balance this confidence with ensuring long-term economic growth, especially in the areas of research, manufacturing, and innovation? So a lot of people are saying it's a very futuristic and visionary budget rather than though being an interim budget, but not actually trying to lure the electorate. So how do you look at as the confident government and a confident and a visionary budget?
Though I can see a lot of confidence in the government, but at this point in time, people are looking for security rather than freebies, because there are many state governments who have won elections by providing these freebies. But I don't think it's going to last for long, because uh, people need that kind of a security, that sense of security from the government. And I think, in my opinion, that sense of security is more important than distributing freebies. I mean, eventually these freebies would come to an end, but that sense of security will bring peace. Peace in the sense that there were states in this country where people were not ready to invest at all, but now with that kind of a backup from the government, people are ready to invest money, and infrastructure is growing. So that's what people are looking for. People are looking for better ways to earn money, make money, and grow. So that only comes when they have that sense of security. So it's not just freebies, but something else that people expect. So I think that the government is confident. They have actually done a few things, but again, um, this freebie thing is not a very long lasting thing as far as the governance of people is concerned.
Right. So, when you say that, people are actually looking for a long-term security and, a safe and secure environment to invest and to grow. And definitely when, the country has come a long way from, depending on the freebies and depending on the dole outs, and to, evaluating whether government is providing a long-term security, in your words. How do you see that this government has somewhere built that confidence in the in the Indian people?
It has. I mean, the surgical strikes uh, was something that actually was able to build the confidence amongst the masses, and the number of terrorist attacks in the mainland India has also decreased to a great extent. So I think that kind of a security prevails. And there are states, I mean, I will not say that all the states have done extremely well. I'm talking about the BJP ruled states, but where the administration was extremely active, they have eradicated a lot of bad things from the society. And I hope that people will show their confidence once again because of all these reasons. But yes, at times we feel that the coordination between the state and the center should be more, so that implementation of the law and order can be better than what it is right now in some of the states. But yes, people are confident.
And so I think the confident people are seeing confidence in the government. And you coming from the state of Uttarakhand, and the finance minister has also spoken about the spiritual and religious tourism. And we've seen, the past years, how the government has actually been promoting a lot of focus on, the Indian tourism, attracting tourists, talking about, the religious spiritual tourism in terms of healing, in terms of prayers. How do you see, like, states like Uttarakhand, Himachal, everywhere you see, our states are like temples, and religion and spirituality is like at every bit of India. And also you come from Devbhoomi. So how do you look at this upcoming opportunity in tourism also?
There should be a balance between two things. One is infrastructure, and at the same time, your your relationship with with Mother Nature. That's the bottom line of it. Infrastructure should not hamper the way of living of our ancestors. That's my point of view. And at the same time, people, those who are going to these states in the name of tourism, must respect the culture and the eco system of that particular landmass. It's not just a landmass, it's our motherland. So once people are educated in in order to make them do the things that we want them to do, they will behave themselves when they go to these places. And at the same times, there should be some kind of a backup, industrial backup as well. In case something goes wrong, there must be a backup. As far as the industries are concerned, we have to actually do some work in that direction as well. But as far as government facilitating tourism is there, we think that they have actually done some work in that direction.
So, talking about, when you talk about the infrastructure investment, the government pledges over rupees 11 lakh crore for infrastructure, and emphasizing specific rail corridors and Vande Bharat, and specific rail corridors and Vande Bharat standards for coaches. How do these initiatives, you feel, contributes to the overall economic growth of the country, and what is the strategic vision behind the focus on rail corridors?
Modernization of the railway and Vande Bharat, and all these projects are doing are extra are quite nice. As far as the people are concerned, people are liking all these projects. Modernization is extremely important. Until and unless we have a proper modern railway system, we will not be able to do the things that other developed countries are doing. And it's going to give a big boost to the infrastructural projects otherwise as well, and tourism industry as well. So we lagged in that in that particular domain, but we have done well. So I think we will be able to achieve the benchmark that we have set for ourselves. There's a lot to be done, but again, I think the railroad network that we have been able to maintain now, and the infrastructural work that we are doing is quite commendable. I think it's going to work in the favor of the government when they come when they go to um, their um, voters. I think it's going to work.
So, and we talk about this middle class support and taxation measure, which has been, a talking point of today. And the middle class is a major economic driver. And the government introduces a special housing program while addressing tax related issues. I know, housing is a very important factor for the Indian population. For even the small families, maybe be it urban, semi-urban, or rural areas. So housing, we have come a long way in ensuring sanitation and proper toilets for the Indian public. And similarly, housing has been a pain point, and the government's focus on housing right now, while addressing the tax issues. What would be your opinion on this focus that government is putting for the housing program for the middle class?
That's definitely going to work. But again, India actually lacks that kind of infrastructure. We will have to develop the infrastructure, and at the same time, people are not at all satisfied as far as the housing system in this country works. But again, government has taken measures. It's going to take some time to eradicate all the issues that were there, prevalent there. Still long way to go, but housing facilities are to be improved in this country. The way our population is growing, we are not able to accommodate the population in the way we should. So we have a long way to go. Government has been able to give houses to people in the rural areas that I have witnessed. In the urban areas, the projects are very less, but development projects are needed in semi-urban areas and urban areas as well. Modern projects, not just the old-fashioned way that you will be given some kind of a rebate from the government, but more has to be done. Um, Development projects would mean smart cities, but we need to keep a check on the people, those who have been given these projects, and if the implementation of the policies is proper. Because what we have seen in some of the smart cities was that the planning was not done properly at the state level. Like for example, I have seen in Dehradun, smart city projects were sanctioned in some of the cities. Dehradun was one of them. But the way it was implemented was really haphazard, and I mean, did not go the way it was supposed to. So, one important suggestion I have for the government is that they should give these contracts to good companies, international companies, so that this international culture comes in. It's not that our people are not competent enough, but they simply lack technology. For example, if Trump Towers can come to India, why can't we give development projects to these companies with our own terms? But again, we have to actually work in that direction in a proper manner. If companies like Reliance take such projects, then also they can employ a few people from the developed world, those who can guide these projects. Because what I've seen in Dehradun, that there were so many contractors, thekedars working on one project. It became really difficult for the masses to get in touch with the right person. Once you are able to give that project to an international company with some collaboration with the Indian contractors, then I think it's going to function in a much proper manner with the modern technology.
Yeah, so coming back to what your suggestion is, like taken very well noted that the government needs to also monitor how these are implemented, and how capable and competent and technologically competent we
More collaboration, more
collaboration.
collaboration with the state government.
Right. But how do you see this vision of the government? So, okay, we really need to take care of the implementation. But how far do you see, how much credit do you give to the government to and far-sightedness, that obviously that we do, we've been working on the rural housing and so, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and sanitation and toilets for all. So yes, there has been, because we see on the ground reality that there's a lot of effort that's been putting, there are a lot of beneficiaries, and as second tier, third tier level impact, that even especially women taking benefit. Combining with it, how far do you feel government's vision, and how much credit do you give to such a vision for even the housing, that because obviously housing is one of the crucial component that establishes the standard of living, like how your populate, what is the standard of living of the population. So taking this into consideration, giving housing an importance, how do you feel, how serious is the government, how much credit would you give to this vision?
Vision is also important. Like for example, if they have come up with these projects, probably they're not able to implement all those projects in the manner in which they were supposed to at this point in time, but in the coming future they will be able to implement these projects, because with experience their capabilities are going to improve, and if they are open to suggestions, of course they will be able to implement these projects in a much better manner, the way they have been able to do right now. I'm quite confident that they will be, because they are our people. Our government will be able to, I mean, we are optimistic about it. But just telling about the shortcomings of these projects at this point in time. Probably they'll take my suggestions into consideration in the coming future and work on them. So I think it's going to work.
Yeah,
And women,
and
of
looking
course,
at the,
women folk have been given these facilities now, even in the rural areas and semi-urban areas, and at times in the urban areas as well. They are definitely going to be happy about it.
and when we talk about, because you have your own experience in this sector, the green economy, the economy initiative, and the government is now incentivizing the solar energy adoption, and promises viability gap funding for offshore wind energy as well. How do you see government's plan to encourage the use of renewable energy, and what is the overall strategy that government has put for promoting green economy, considering coal classification and other initiative?
This topic is extremely crucial and dear to all the youngsters, the modern generation, whether it is me, whether it is anyone else, those who have been facing these issues in India. Um, I would say that the kind of investment our government has done in that particular domain is commendable, because many of the so-called developed countries have not been able to do that kind of an investment in that particular sector. Our government has done that, so it's really commendable. Now here they have partnered with some of the best people in the world, those who were able to develop that particular technology. I think when all these plans will be properly implemented, they are going to make a lot of difference. And urban infrastructure, it will actually be affected by the green um, energy related plans by the government. So I'm quite optimistic about it.
You see that though being an interim budget, it is an interim budget, and we do see a lot of hope. So how optimistic you are that we have been able to maintain some economic growth there, and how far this will be able to accelerate into, like we've been into the lowest the fragile five, the India has been into the fragile five, while now the world is talking that India is going to be in the top five. By your concluding comments on that.
India will be able to do well. I mean, India is growing, we all know that. Our GDP is growing. We were not impacted by the pandemic the way we thought the pandemic would actually impact the economy. We were somehow able to balance ourselves even after the disaster. So I think we have that kind of an energy now within us, which is actually going to guide us. So I'm quite optimistic about it.
Thank you so much. We were very delighted to have you with us, and thank you for sharing your opinion and your insight into it. Thank you very much.